Good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing good. This videos catch you at a good time, or you had a good day so far. And I hope that I'm able to make it better with this reaction. Speaking of this reaction, the title is I Died and Broke the Simulation. Then I escaped the system they don't want you to see. So the title alone is intriguing, so it has to be some mind-boggling situations that experiences that he's gonna express. So the without further ado, we're gonna get right into the video.
What's up, folks? Welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm with Darius J. Wright. A lot of my audience has been asking for your return, Darius. So this is perfect. Lately, I've been having a lot of different types of people come on. I think I've had you on like twice now, right, Darius?
Yeah, two times.
Yeah, it's been great. We've knocked them out of the park. It's been a lot of fun. And, Darius is able to do I guess you can say, controlled a remote. You're a remote viewer, but you're able to slow down your heartbeat to in the 20s, like near death, correct? And astral project, is that what it's called? You're able to leave your body and see beyond. Am I right?
Slow down his heartbeat. Damn, sounds like I'm mutant or something.
Yeah. So you're doing a controlled near death experience. So it's a controlled out of body state. Your soul's fully exiting. But it differs from remote viewing, Nino, because it's not when you remote view, it's different from the soul, the full separation of the soul in that way. Because once you leave the body, you're in your soul, and it is more physical than the physical body. That's the way to sort of say what I'm talking about. It's like the near death experience. When someone dies, they tell you an experience. They say it was so more real than physical life, and so that's sort of the process that you're sort of going through.
It's I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions because a lot of people see the bright light. They go through the tunnel. Do you experience any of that? And before you answer that, talk about light, folks. Get your red light therapy. All right, everybody, it's your guy, David Nino Rodriguez here. You've heard the talk about med beds, those next level healing machines that repair your cells, kill inflammation, and reverse aging and damage with red light and PEMF. Well, the full med bed hack is here right now. It's red light therapy panels plus the red light PEMF Bioforge mat from myredlight.com. These panels flood you with 9 of the most proven and highest powered red and near infrared wavelengths while the PEMF Bioforge mat delivers 8 powerful coils and 4 targeted wavelengths of red and near infrared light, plus a built-in 9-hour timer, just in case you fall asleep like I do. You get restorative sleep sessions. Together, they supercharge your mitochondria, melt inflammation, clear zombie cells, boost collagen, skyrocket energy, erase brain fog, improve sleep, speed recovery, and literally help your body heal from the inside out. Exactly like med beds everyone's waiting for. I do this full combo almost every day, and I feel 10 years younger, stronger, sharper, and pain-free. If you're done waiting for tomorrow's tech, grab the complete med bed hack today for a limited time only. They're going to sell out fast, so get the discount before it's gone. Head to myredlight.com right now and use Nino25 for 25 off any single item, and Nino30 for 30% off any bundled items. You should have. You ever thought about doing this under a red light panel?
No.
It could be healthy for you. I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a lot of people say when they die, right? When the near death experience, when they leave their body, they go through this tunnel and then this bright light appears, right? Like a tractor beam pulling their soul. Do you experience that first, or have you ever experienced that?
It's not necessarily that you experience it first. The you when you're accessing certain states on the other side, it comes through many different ways. people could go through the a black portal, the light. But typically, when people talk about the light, that leads them to a life review in some form, or meeting their family that passed away, or people that they don't recognize here physically, but they've always known. And so that's typically what that is. And then that gets lumped into a lot of fear-based things within certain communities where they say, don't follow the light's going to entrap you. But then they've already forgotten the most basic fundamental truth of all creation is that you are the ultimate authority, just like every other soul, and nothing could touch you or entrap you unless you believe it to be so, because you cannot have ultimate expression of freedom with a limitation. And that is just a basic framework that then when you hold that framework, it sort of dismantles all of these fear-based narratives once you leave the body, once you die, because you could pierce through all things. Everything fear-based is a thing that entraps you. It's a thing that they use here to weaken your soul, weaken your spirit, and weaken your will.
I've heard, hell and heaven are a construct of the mind, and it's what you believe after death where you go, right? And if you believe it to be so, that is where you go. Is there any truth to that in your mind?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's I always use this concept. People have they're religious and they believe in hell. And
if they
because they believe
deserving of that, then they're going to go there and they will spend eternity there, correct?
Not eternity, no. They won't spend eternity there. They will experience put it this.
I feel like it won't be eternity, but it depends on whatever um karma, so whatever they got going on, like whatever they was doing, like in this life or past lives, they got karmic debt, whatever. Like however the severity of that is, I feel like that's what determines what realm you go to or whatever the case. I'm not an expert, and obviously I'm still here, so I can't tell you based off experience, but that's what I heard. So yeah,
This way. What your subconscious, what you feel the most, you will see temporarily. And it's not until you get into a place of hopelessness or losing the fear where then just all of creation just opens back up to you. And this is coming from direct experience. This is not me just saying, oh, this is what it is. Because with the out of body stuff, I had fear for years, man. And it wasn't until I got rid of that, when I started to see my Uncle Bob, I started to see records, I started to get access to even more of all the information of how this place is made, who we are, the history of that everything was placed here. So it's eternity of the soul. All right. Every single person, every single soul is destined to become the greatest version of themselves, full stop, and to reach the highest version of themselves. And the highest version of yourself is not hell. It's love.
And I agree with that. So what do you have to say to people that are saying, things like, well, you go to a bright light, you meet your family members again, you go to, and then others that say that's a trap, right? Is that a trap? Do you go through this white light and then you go to the other side and then get recycled back to Earth? They say that this is a prison planet and we're entrapped by a grid system.
yeah, that's what I be hearing a lot. Like people be saying, "Oh, don't go towards the light, cause or unless you wanna reincarnate or something or come back, then steer clear of the white light type." That's what I heard. Like a lot of people say, but I don't really know. Never experienced it.
No,
Um,
you cannot, Nino and everybody listening, you cannot entrap your soul unless you believe it. We forget when we go into these concepts of how powerful the will of the soul is. The thing is, you are borderless. You are shapeless in a way too, and you are even outside of thought itself. You see, we think about where a thought comes from. Even when you're back as far as you can from the beginning of all things, you make thought possible. Therefore, you make light possible. And a thought is nothing but a prism of light. So the moment you have a thought, automatically that is a confinement space, and that is the prison. A thought is already a prison because it's a confinement of light, and you're outside of those things. So you're not trapped within a thought. You're not trapped within all of these mental games. But when you realize who you are, you're outside of it. Nothing has control over you. Not one thing. And with the reincarnation thing, when you meet, for instance, when I met people that I was close to that passed away, and if I was actually, I was trying to ask for their help. I was trying to say, where are you? And they wouldn't show because I was in so much fear and anxiety. Now, when I broke past that, when I said, kill my soul, I don't care, and then access to them. Now, if I was still in that state, then I would be basically pushing them away. I have 89 testimonies, 90 about to be posted now, of people just like this coming out of their body. Someone that has had a near-death experience, have accessed their loved ones and still come back. No one's forced here and trapped here. And even with this state, there is a point of no return. And that point of no return is when you say, I've had enough and you're gone. And it even leads me back to the experience that I had with Celeste. And a lot of people forget these experiences that they have when they're in these states where you agree to come back. I was with Celeste at 16, and that's when I was given the opportunity to leave permanently on many occasions too.
Celeste?
And yeah, just call it what people call a spirit guide, but it's not that's not a.
Oh, I thought you was referring to that David situation.
Spirit guide. It's just someone that I've known for a long time, just like everybody knows other people. But she gave me the choice at that moment, back at when I was 16, and she literally said these words to me: "You could stay here if you want. You could stay here, or you could come back. But when you come back, you're going to forget all the nitty gritties and details of what I shared with you." I said, "No, I want to go back." And so I forgot all the nitty gritties of everything.
Was this a death? Like or was this a controlled out of body, or did you actually die on it? Like, did you actually suffer an accident or something happened to you when you
No. I got to the point. I shared this before, but it's good that you're bringing it up because you haven't heard it. But I got to a point at 16 where at 13, I was studying all the Federal Reserve bankings, how they work, how the enslavement system works here. I was training my abilities as a kid. Those gifts were always there. They weren't shut down. So
Yeah, that's fire, bro. Wish that's fire that he was aware of it and he was able to like practice it and all that. I was not thinking about any of it. But it was just, I mean, actually demonized it because I was religious and all that. The stuff that I like heard that wasn't good for you to have this and that. So I wasn't really into all that. But yeah, it is what it is.
16, I said, I want to know it all. I actually want to know it all. Show me who I am, what this place is, everything. Otherwise, if you do not show me, I will wake up in the morning, I will kill myself, and I'll figure it out anyways.
Damn.
Wow, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah. So there was no, to me, in that decision, I wasn't making that up. I wasn't just saying that to say it. It was either show me or I will figure it out in the morning.
Interesting.
And that night, from that statement, and this also proves to me that when you say something and you mean it, creation itself has no choice but to bow to it. you know. And from that moment, it would be classified as a near death, because if I made the decision not to come back, I would have just died in my sleep, you know. And I was showing that the fabric of everything is unfiltered love of everything. And so we're do not be afraid. If you leave your body and you cross over and you see your loved one, what is the programming to be afraid of these things? Because then when you are programmed to be afraid of that, like I said, you forget the foundation of who you are, which is a
I ain't gonna lie. I don't even see what's what's scary about. I feel like that would be actually something I would want. Like, see people that is no longer with us. I get to see them again. Like, and even just temporarily. Why would I not want to do that? I don't know, but I know there's probably some people who is scared or scared of experiencing that. But see, you say, so,
on you have you're not limited. Your soul is not limited. You are from the very divine of all things, and the divine is not limited, and that's you. You know.
So you think to yourself, well, I've thought to myself many times, like, you hear those stories where don't go towards the light, it's a trap. And then who
Mhm.
wouldn't want to go towards the light? If you're going towards the light and you see your loved ones, you're going to want to reunite with them and be with them, right? Like, I'm going through this horrific experience with my parents right now, and and the only thing I can think of, man, is like when they go, is like I can't wait till the day comes to where I get to see them again. And who would not want to go towards the light and see them? And if it's a trap, that's a terrible trap. I mean, what, just to get thrown back down onto this prison planet? I mean, that's what a lot of people say, right? A lot of people are saying don't go towards the light, it's a trap. It sucks you in and then it spits you back out on the planet in a soul reincarnation or
Yeah. I
the cycling of the soul. What do you have to say to those people?
well,
I mean, when you're
I
going through the
know.
light, you sit there and you go, okay, stop. I know I'm a free spirit, I can do whatever I want right now, and you break from that. I mean, how does this work?
Nina, I have to speak truth. It's part of, like, if I don't do that, like I said, the pain that I hold on the other side it goes against me. The I understand where these people are when they say these things, because I promise you, if you went towards your true divinity, you realize that nothing could touch you, and you wouldn't say those things. You only say those things once you yourself place yourself underneath something, and you automatically give power. You flip the consciousness to the universe dictates consciousness, which is your soul, instead of consciousness, the soul dictating the universe. That belief automatically puts you in a place where your soul is not all powerful, and that the universe and creation itself dictates everything about you,
I
and you
get
are
it.
subservient underneath.
So you need to know your power before, understand the power of your soul, which is eternal and everlasting, and you could do whatever you want. It's kind of like you're just travelers. We're all just travelers, right? We don't need to come back to this planet unless we want to come back to this planet, correct?
No, 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 no. We don't need to come back. But the let me add this side note in there. What if, let's just go here. What if an individual like myself, I'm just going to play the bad character, and then there's innocent people. So I've accessed the other side. I know the truth of who we actually are at the core. Then nothing can touch us. And if I sat there and said to people, you know what, knowing what I know, if you go towards the light, or actually, the moment you cross over, you are automatically controlled. You have no power, and you will be forced and incarnated back here. Well, that belief, if you held that belief, think about what you are. You make everything possible on the other side. You then, with that belief, temporarily would put yourself in a hell.
Mm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I would have dominion only due to fear over your soul's will, and only through fear, me extracting your soul will, your energy through fear to me. But instead, if people that are in this belief, I ask them this: what do you have to lose? You've already lost everything here. The only thing that I'm sharing is empowerment. Once you realize what you are, not a damn thing could touch you. But once you don't realize what you are, then everything could touch you, only due to fear.
Do you think that's why religions? That's why they're so important to keep us kind of in this prison state of mind in a program. That's what they're used
Mm.
for, in a belief system, so that when we do cross over, we're under that type of program or belief system to where we don't break free.
Well, it's like I said, yes, it is. Yes, it is. But it's only the moment you, all right, let's just say if you died, if you actually died right now, your parents died or whatever, that veil of fear, whatever that is only temporary. It honestly is. It's only temporary, because there comes a point, and it comes within every single person, even here, where you just don't care anymore. And that point is when you pass through the subconscious into the true state.
I I can speak on that a little bit. Obviously, people know that due to my own horrific experiences, I've almost died twice. Right, I flatlined over a drug overdose, and um, I have my own stories on that. But I also got knifed in the throat, and I remember when I was in the ambulance, and I was
Damn, son. My daddy's here right now. So what's up? Damn.
losing all my blood. I remember all of a sudden I surrendered, and I don't know where that came from. I just surrendered, and I thought to myself, "This is it," and I said goodbye to everybody in my.
One thing I did hear though is people who pass away or what near death experiences, like 9 times out of 10, people who just be feeling like mad, blissful, and peaceful and stuff. Like especially in a situation like he was explaining. I've heard people when they like when they're trying to survive or something like that. Well, I've heard certain stories where people got shot or stabbed or whatever, and like he just said, when you in the process of that, after a certain point, you just start feeling like blissful, peaceful, and stuff. I mean, from all the ones that I've heard, that's what I've heard, like from the experience. So that's interesting. But maybe, yeah, I guess we really do rest in peace. You know, when we pass.
Family and in my mind, and all of a sudden I just felt this warmth and this comfort.
Mhm.
But then I woke up the next day, so I don't know what happened in that period of time there. I wish I could tell
Well,
you more.
I remember having this conversation with you in the first one, and I instantly tuned into that, and I said, because typically you have these these blackout moments where you were telling me certain things happened in your life, and then all of a sudden you started doing things like this, where you make agreements. You make agreements to come back and do things, and this is another thing. So a lot of people don't understand. Well, why are people coming back? You forget certain things. Why are you coming back? And I ask you this question, man. If someone right now were to send you $5 billion right into your bank account, would you accept it?
Of course, who wouldn't?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Facts.
no strings attached. You don't need to do compromise yourself. It's just
Bro, I don't think that should even be a question, man.
This is a gift, $5 billion right into your bank account. Everybody would say yes to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you have that amount of money, you could say you become completely free here. No limitations. You can control the lawyers, you can control politicians, whatever. And let's even actually go further than that. I give you $1 trillion. Someone gives you $1 trillion. You have ultimate freedom here. You could get whatever you want, whenever you want, at all times. But once someone's in that state where they have, like yourself, or other people that accepted that, what would you actually desire to do? 90% of people would desire to help people, to come back and say, let me help you. Here,
Facts. Shit. That's what I'm trying to do when I get bread. Like,
here's 100,000, here's 1 million, or here's a community that's set up. Once we have here, we desire to help others. So place that same concept. Once you die and you cross over and you access your true self, who you really are, which is that unfiltered, unconditional love, divinity, purity. You are the very trillionaire on the other side. And once you're there, you desire to come back and help people.
Wow,
You
that's
see?
that's
that
very
that was
profound, and you're right.
that was a good analogy. Uh, that was a good way to explain it, so we can understand what you were saying, what he's saying.
Depends what's in the man's heart. Because if you look at the Rockefellers and Rothschilds, they have all the money in the world, and what are they doing?
Control. Yeah.
Controlling the planet, right? They don't want to
That's why I
lose.
said 90%. That's why I
Yeah.
said 90% of people would choose to help. And then the other people,
I mean, 90%, maybe, but uh, I don't know. I guess that depends. What maybe we never know because it ain't happened. So I know I would though. I know I would. So, but hey, who knows?
would go into greed, would go into fear and control and loss of, and they would step out of love and they would become the very fallen angels that everybody talks about, which they are. And that's where you go into these people that do that, man. I'm I'm telling you, once you do leave, you do experience love, but you also, let's just say what people call judgment day. It's not judgment that source itself is judging you, but you judge yourself. And when you're in the face of that love, when you judge yourself, that is the greatest pain that you'll experience, full stop. So like even with these people, there's nothing that you could do physically to them that when they cross over and they view themselves, even though that's not eternal hell, but they do face themselves. You're the only one that you can never escape for eternity. Once you're here, you don't necessarily have that strong love. Sometimes you do. Even the most evil people here still love somebody, and that somebody, let's say a mother, could come to them and it brings them back down out of that controlling aspect back into love temporarily, and then they
Let
start
me.
crying or etc.
So
Yeah,
I've noticed one thing that I believe in my mind that traps people here is not being able to let go. Right? If you have something that you don't feel like you've accomplished here on Earth, or resentment or some kind of grudge, I believe that's what a trapped soul is.
yeah. I also heard. um, yeah, I also heard that like spirits or ghosts, really ghosts, are like spirits that's stuck on um this realm of existence, or I wouldn't say you're stuck. Maybe in some cases, but um, by definition, they're just here on this on the planet, pretty much, because of what attachments or whatever it might be. But yeah, these that's one of the reasons why it could it could be.
a trapped soul is, or a ghost, or someone who can't seem to make the transition. They have something here holding them back, or holding them from making that transition. Also, I'd like to, I like to explain it as, also ego. I think my ego had to die in order for me to be the person I am now doing these podcasts. I couldn't be the same egotistical boxer that I was. Just that mindset and that tyrant. There's just no way I could be doing what I'm doing now. It was just all based on ego and boxing. And now, so many deaths of my ego later, I'm doing this and able to have these conversations with someone like yourself. We see a lot of, I see a lot of people living within their ego now. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I can see it plain as day now. It's a trap.
Mm.
It's a trap.
I ain't gonna lie. The ego, it definitely, it could definitely trap you. It could definitely make you self-sabotage, continue loops and stuff that you're trying to break. It makes it harder for you to do that. Yeah, it's not fun, especially if it's strong or inflated. The more stronger it is or inflated it is, the more harder it's gonna be to get over. But it's not an impossibility. So just keep working on it. That's it.
Is the ego, does the death of the ego have to happen first before you cross over in order to make these strides like you have?
I would rather reframe the question just because to get to the core of it in terms of it's not it's death of fear. It's death of fear.
Or the fear
That
of death, right? Like anybody who, you know, um, I get what I think I get what you're saying. In order to expand and move on, you can't have that fear holding you back. You have to be
yeah
able to
yeah
let go of that in order. It's like taking the leap of faith, like jumping off a cliff. You got to just say, okay, I'm going for it, and lose that fear. Correct?
yeah. Well, think about what you said too. It's lost soul. So in order to be lost, you the the root of fear, what makes it possible is loss itself. You feel losing something, and so that becomes a lost soul. So you're lost, you're wandering, you're afraid of losing something. But once you know what you are, it's impossible to lose anything. Like you even if you're someone were to die close to you or me, here we would say, oh, I've lost them, but they're on the other side. Nothing's lost. Not one thing's lost. So it's not death. It's not death of the ego, but like if you even go past that, it's death of fear itself. That's the root of it. Because without getting caught up in the weeds of ego and stuff like that, it's what people view ego as, and the way that you're saying it is that there's you fear of losing your something, you know. And so therefore, okay, well, what is that something? Loss, and fear and loss. So you need to get rid of fear. And then with that, you step back into fearlessness, if that's
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, what about the people that say, you've had thousands of lives here? You've been reincarnated here thousands of times, if not millions of times. Who would choose to do that?
Um
That
I
to
don't
me just sounds insane. I think once is
I mean, I'm sure, I'm sure there's somebody who would like to do that or who wants to do that. I mean, especially if they didn't do everything that they wanted to do. Like when the time comes, I'm sure there's people who want to do that. Or also heard this it's like the realm of growth and stuff. Like you could grow and learn a lot on this planet. So people just do that again. Like if the soul feels like it needs more, like more learning, then I guess that's what it's going to choose to do. But it depends on the things. Also, I feel like people um, don't realize like that they have a choice and stuff, and then that's like the cycle, reincarnation, trap, whatever that people be talking about, maybe. But yeah, I feel like everyone's different. Like, yeah, a lot of people probably wouldn't, but excuse me, you never know.
Enough,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm like,
I mean, I
I've
don't,
had enough.
I don't, I don't think it's millions of times.
But you get what I'm
Uh,
saying. Like
yeah,
they
yeah,
say that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that people have been here like a few times, 12 times, 15 times, or whatever. But it would again, it goes back into why would you choose to come back?
That's my
The
question.
the the core of that answer is this, man. If because I really just want to get the feeling where people could feel what I'm saying instead of just words coming out. Once you, all right, for instance, once you are on the other side, you're the trillionaire, and you realize that there's nothing that could ever stop your will or manifestation of. You're an all powerful being, yet you don't know what an all powerful being not is like. So not to get new agey because this steps into those territories that also some of those paradigms weakens people, but to experience that which you are not gives you a certain perceptional wisdom that could have never been birthed unless it was experienced. And if you really listen to what I said, and I said that many times before, it gives you all it answers all those questions. It answers all of it.
So do you think that coming back here is like a learning experience, or is it something to uh, almost like a game to be played, like to experience the soul can't experience subjectively, like it comes here to be to separate to learn separation. You
It
get what I'm
comes
saying?
here to yeah. Well, yes, it's I have to say this carefully because if I say it just directly, then it's not giving you the full picture. It's not giving you the full thing. The original design of this was to experience that which you are not, to eventually remember who you are in love. And you could say, due to think about it this way. Let me zoom out. Us as a soul on the other side, all of us, we make creations. Thoughts, we make creations, and the creations are infinite. They go out for infinity because you can't find an end to your consciousness, and the end of it is your imagination. So we have made all things. All of us, every single one of us, has made our own universes, our own creations itself, with our full divinity, our full remembering of everything, of who we are, playing, having fun as a game. These are constructs. These are matrix, or what people call matrix. They're just little creations. This creation that we're in was the unexperienced, the unimaginable. And everything from all of these different creations, there's a small part of every single one of them within this one. And stepping into something, the unimaginable, of what would it be like to experience what I'm not. And you only get that only through the physical body, because that illusion of separation is only done through this physical form, this. But you can push past and remember through this physical form because that's baked into the design of this place. It's already baked in. It's baked in even when you die. That's baked in. Bam, you die, you access truth again. So it's already preset into this creation to remember all things again. But you don't have to die to remember all things. You don't have to reach that end point, because there's many markers throughout the way that you could reach to remember. And once you start remembering, this is going to sound a little bit crazy, but I'm gonna put it as a belief. I believe once you fully realize what you are, you could even transcend this physical body as what it was done in the past. I believe that we could even travel with our physical bodies as we once done in the past. All of the texts, religious texts. I believe that all that is possible. You know, I had a I did an in-person event. I did a summit, and I was teaching people out of body experiences, a whole bunch of other abilities that we all have. And it was all I started it off with breaking down the limitations that people place on themselves. And then things started to happen. One of the gentlemen said to me, I know this is going off in another direction, but I believe that I did answer the question. But one of the gentlemen said to me, okay, I said, someone raise your hand in the room. Tell me something that you believe is impossible. That you believe you can't, that is, it would be impossible to do no matter what. Someone walks up to the front of the room, they say levitation. I say, oh, okay. Impossibility. That's impossible. Does everybody agree with that? They'll go, yeah, levitation, you can't levitate. I said, well, levitation's actually really easy.
Word, I was about to say, well, not that I know, but I mean, how do we know something is not possible? Like, and we don't really know too much. Like, we don't really know that much. If we're keeping it above, we still got diseases and all this stuff that's uncurable, So how do we know? How are we gonna use that same logic and say that we don't know anything? Like we don't know. I mean, it's impossible to do these supernatural things. Is it impossible or is it unlocked yet? I feel like yeah, I feel like a lot of things we could it's possible to do, but never know till till we see it, right?
It's so easy. I could show you right now how to do it. Let me follow this through. I can show you right now how to do it. And it's so simple. You are already doing it, but you don't even realize you're doing it. And then I brought the science to it. I said, did you know scientifically, you sitting and standing on that floor right now, science factual, that the electromagnetic field within your body, your feet, is creating a repulsion effect with the electromagnetic field of the ground that you're apparently standing on, and you never fully touch anything. It's a
Anything.
very, very, very small, like you can't even see it, where you are already levitating right now. Sitting in this chair, we are levitating right now. And he went, huh. I said, now that you know what you said was impossible is possible and you're already doing it. Now the question becomes, well, if you wanted to levitate, how do you make the repulsion that's already happening naturally to every single one of us more visible? How do you increase the electromagnetic field to for that repulsion effect to be visible? And then you'll see the natural thing that's happening to all of us is now just visible to all of us.
That's crazy. I never knew that. So so I'm not sitting on a chair right now. We not touching nothing. We don't. So where does the feeling come from? But that's interesting. I might need to research that more.
So I don't believe anything is impossible. And I think the impossibilities are what is placed on every single one of us because of the will of our soul
Nice. I feel like that's probably just limiting beliefs.
to constantly bring us down and stepping out of our power. Even to all of the questions that you asked, will force reincarnation. It's all to bring us down. And it's
Yeah,
as
it's
simple
heavy.
as the right. Yeah, it's as simple as the rice experiment. Right now, we can bend reality just with our feelings and our words. You speak to rice, it will change based off hate or love. We are already literally bending reality. We are breaking reality. Your words will morph and change reality. And yet, let's focus on the fear. Let's focus on the soul trap. Let's focus on this and that infinitum, not realizing that when you feel that way and you speak that way, you're also feeling that way within yourself, and you're doing it
Right.
to yourself.
Right. But a lot of people need to break through that chaos and crud just to get to that other side and realize that there's no limitations, right? I mean, they have to kind of get through that monk gunk to get to the other side. They have to kind of understand how, which probably is how you help people do that, correct? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people come to you with that problem saying, man, they can't break through. And that's what you teach them to do, correct?
Yeah, yes, I do. Yeah,
Because a
I've
lot of people have baggage and heavy stuff in their life that they can't seem to let go of, and problems, and whether it's financial or losing a loved one or it's sickness they're battling with, that's heavy stuff, man.
yeah.
And they don't
It
feel so light.
but Nino, it is so easy to break. People don't realize how easy it is to break. It's love, man, and it's a word that has been bashed, but it is love. You even for abilities to turn online, certain abilities to turn online, it's all a felt state. It once we realize that love itself could cure cancer, which is that frequency of belief and love, you know that you break all of that baggage by getting rid of fear and loss, and then the only thing that remains is love itself. And to tune into telepathy or awaken dormant abilities, it's as simple as loving yourself, not pretending. Because there's certain things that we don't love about ourselves, but we could say, you love your mother, yes, or you love your
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
So let me give you a concept here. What if you had an eye issue and you couldn't see, and you hate that about yourself? You hate your eyes, and you're constantly programming to your eyes that you hate it, you hate it, you hate it. What if you loved your eyes as much as you loved your child, and then believed in yourself enough that you could possibly see or improve your eyesight? It would happen. And I've done an experiment in this. I'll actually pass on that. I won't share that yet. But yeah.
Do you want to hear a true story?
Yeah.
Listen to this. When I fought Darnell Wilson, right, on NBC, it was a brawl. It was a brutal fight, right? And I lost that fight. I came back after it was knifed. That was an emotional mess, whatever. And when I was fighting him, I remember he opened up on me in the first round. Bam, 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 caught me. It broke my eye socket. And I remember while I was trading blows with him, this eye started looking. It fell. It fell out of my socket, and it was looking down into the canvas while I was still trying to focus on him, fighting him. I get my back of my mind. I'm like, holy shit! This guy just dislocated my eye. It's looking down. I was looking down at the canvas while this eye was looking at him, and it was
Damn, bro, he done been to the ringer early. That's crazy. You got a lot of experiences.
painful, right? That whole fight was just that round was the most painful round of the whole fight. Was the first round. He started fast because he knew I like to start fast. And I remember going back into the corner, and I was so insulted, Darius. I was so friggin' mad, so upset. I remember sitting in the corner, and my corner man Rafa looking at me, going, "Oh man, look at his eye!" And I could hear the fear in them, and I was just so upset and angry. I was looking at him. I wasn't even thinking about my eye. My eye went right and straightened out. I went back in that fight and fought him to the death. But it's
Yeah.
I could. That's a true story. It was looking down, lost all capabilities, no muscle control or anything, and it just went straight back. True story. True story.
It's probably willpower or something. That's crazy.
So I
The
know the
heightened
power of
emotion. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
no, it's like that's my little story. That's how I can relate to you. But yeah, that's true because I did it firsthand.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I
I
mean,
wasn't there. I wasn't thinking about my eye. I was thinking about how dare this son of a bitch do this to me, right? And went right back.
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. The power of intense emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's pivot for a second, man. You know,
Mhm.
let's get into Artemis. Let's talk about space travel. Let's talk about you know, you've said you've seen the dome when you've had your out of body experience. I had another remote viewer that's also, she says she's able to do what you do, which she said she saw not a dome but a grid system on the planet that's
How much you wouldn't have bet it was Elizabeth 8, bro? I don't know, but it's a guess.
misinterpreted as a firmament. I feel there's a firmament there. I don't think they can break through it. You know, that's just my belief, my opinion. But you have seen this first, you know, leaving your body.
Mhm.
Can you explain this to my audience, what you saw and why is it so important for them to keep pushing these psyops like Artemis?
All right. First, I'm going to say this. What came first, the chicken or the egg? That's a question to you.
The egg. I don't know.
Okay.
Chicken.
Well, what came first was a chicken, and what was placed in it was an egg to reproduce. The same thing here. All the trees, the stars within the firmament, the sun, everything was placed here. Even we were placed here for the first creation. Everything was preset. This place was made, intelligently designed by, you could say, a creator being, which essentially is us. Everything is made, and that's what I've seen. I've seen that. I've seen what this looks like, and I've already explained this many times. There was a book that was someone shared it to me, an audio book. It was called The Book of Enoch. And then he starts to explain certain, I believe he says certain heavens that he's accessed, and he's taken up seeing the angels and stuff like that. People still take him seriously, but that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm seeing. And everything that I'm seeing lines up to like what was written about back then, if it wasn't distorted, from the Book of Enoch to the three layers of heaven, celestial heavens within, and then God's throne or whatever. All of this was perfectly designed and set up. Now, when you go into why would they do this? Well, you think about the way that they push a certain model that they're pushing. It's based off of scarcity.
Yeah.
This scarcity automatically, if it's not conscious, it goes into your subconscious of scarcity even of yourself. And that scarcity of yourself starts programming the very cells within you to be scarce, fear, loss of. And what is scarcity? It's loss. You're losing something, which is fear, which then you're programming your body to be not the infinite self. It's all tied together, because once you realize that this was made, you also realize that this is fueled by an infinite source of something, and that there's no such thing as scarcity, there's no such thing as loss, and that infinite source of something is love itself. And then when you realize that this is infinite, this is abundant, there's abundance for everything, then all the scarcity goes away, all the fear goes away, and you step back into your design of not being scarce itself and being love itself. And it turns and reactivates everything and connects you to everything. Someone posed a question to me, and they said, this was in the summit that I ran. They said, why do certain remote viewers see something else, or why is it that CIA programs, when they You know, they pump millions of dollars into these people to set targets. But why does your things differ? And I actually said this. I said, you know what? Do these people have a desire? Oh, first of all, do these funded individuals like the in the CIA programs that are really, you know, getting funded for this? Are they trained to be in love? Are they trying to access the truth of all things, where they come from, the divinity of themselves? I would say no. And this is already limiting their access, because think about what we are. Once you're not stepping into that frequency of love, you already limit your access to things. And this is why they're not seeing
Beyond.
beyond in many of these things, because the desire isn't actually there to go, what is this place? Who am I? Where was I before I was born?
Mhm.
Where's the start of me? What is creation itself? Because once you ask those questions and you step into that in a fearless state, then you're going to be shown the same thing. This is why even with a lot of the testimonies in near death experience people as well, they eventually come to that state, show me, and they're showing all these things, dude. And so when it's when you're doing the CIA funded individuals remote viewing and stuff like that, this is, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. That's not my intention, and I have no, but I'm just saying there's a difference when you die and you leave and you separate versus remote viewing. And how could I say that so confidently? Everybody watched David Ebel. He shared 3 testimonies already. He has a heart issue. He died he's died 2, 3 times. He has reached the other side through death. He has been given a life review through death. He has seen his father through death. And then he also did the out of body state, which is the controlled near death process. And he said he saw the same things. He accessed the same things. His heart was there to see it. The
Wow.
only difference was that he felt more of a magnetic pull to the physical body in the controlled out of body state than he did with the near death. There was no resistance back to the physical body when he died, versus the out of body. You have this pullback, and this pullback is based off, well, the body's still alive, and it's based off certain cycles that your body goes through, the brain waves and stuff like that, which will naturally pull you back. But it all comes down to the desire and the intent, the true intention. And a lot of remote viewers are just setting the intention on target and 3D things, not
Right.
who am I? Show me with no borders, boundaries, or limitations.
It's not expansive. It's limited. It's I remember when we were talking last time, you said that you saw almost levels or like buoyancies, correct?
Yes.
You saw so when you're elevating and you're seeing what's beyond, right? You described it as buoyancies. You did say that, right?
Uh,
It's like almost
it's
buoyancies of
well, think about it this way.
frequencies. What?
Yeah, frequencies. There you go. There you go. Frequencies.
Maybe I was
water
talking to someone else
separated.
that described it as buoyancies. Maybe they were talking.
The thing about like the human bodies, we only could see a certain level of the light spectrum, a certain percentage, I should say. So if we, it only makes sense that when we're not in our bodies, or we have a out of body experience, whatever the case, then we get to see more of what's actually going on. Because we can only see, like I said, a certain percentage of the light spectrum. So through our physical eyes. So imagine what else is going on at the same time while experiencing what we experiencing when we in our human um limitations, because even though we are complex and capable of a lot, the human body is pretty limiting um, as it pertains to like ourself, like inside, like
This is where you have mediums, you have psychics, just tapping into more of that field. But New Earth is already here, and and the only thing that was hidden was the fear in governmental systems of putting us into fear, scarcity to shut down these abilities, because they never activate in fear. They activate 100% in love.
Hmm.
You know, so once you once you go into space is of like a I've said it before, it's like water. And then how have I experienced it is through water, and then all of a sudden you're into another heaven. And then you keep on going through that way. You know, there was something that I was targeting recently, getting more information on, is I've shared this before with the stars, how certain pyramids are aligned to the stars. You have certain grid lines here that are aligned to certain stars, ancient structures, certain sound frequencies, those big bells. The stars are portals to certain kingdoms from those higher heavens. And
Hmm.
through certain devices, or even the will of us, like I said, I believe that these physical bodies can transcend all physical limitations, and that we can be, this physical body is the ultimate machine. Project Looking Glass was a piece of technology to see time. You leave your body, you see time. We are the ultimate device, and we're told otherwise. We're told that a piece of metal, piece of copper, or what have you, magnets, is somehow more powerful than the very soul within this physical body, which makes all those things possible. So
Right.
all all
But
the,
these things, like,
all
people believe that crystals and copper and things like that can enhance our abilities, correct?
well, they can, they can do that, but then you even go a step further. What came first, the crystal or the soul?
Right. The soul.
Piece of copper or the
100%.
soul?
Right.
Yeah. So we see, it's even our belief in the crystal and the piece of copper which gives it power in our belief, which is the
Mhm.
placebo, which makes it possible for us. And this is what
Right.
I'm talking about. Once you step into the full you,
We
you don't
are the
need.
technology. We are
We
the
are
tech.
the technology. Exactly. 100%.
And that's
You know.
just really the most simplistic way you can put it. We are the technology we're seeking.
Yeah.
Talking about
I'll
all
give
this
you.
UFO alien stuff, and really, we are the technology.
Yeah.
We are the most coveted.
I'll give you an example, and this is already publicly filmed. The day before I did my in-person event, or actually 3 weeks before I did my in-person event, it's like 3 weeks or a month or something like that. I wanted to tap into future. I wanted to see, show me something that I need to address before I show up. I wrote it down on a piece of paper and on my iPad too. It said, Catherine, her mother came to me that passed away. She said, her name's Catherine. She has kids. She grew up in the backyard. There was an orchard. And then her mother said, just tell her that I'm proud of her. I said, okay, I'm going to send that message. And then I also said, where is this potential person going to be sitting in the room out of 120 people just sitting? Where is this person going to be sitting? So I'm trying to target and see potential future events. And I got the third in the front. So me in the front. So the third row from the front, the second seat. And I say, Catherine, is that you?
No way.
So it's already recorded. It's posted.
Wow. And
So
then
so 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 this is showing. It's not necessarily to, oh,
my dude Tom Chaplin or Tom seeing. I don't know. I, for lack of a better term. But that's it's crazy, man. Imagine the possibilities.
Look at me, look what I could do, or whatever. That's total nonsense. But I'm just showing, in terms of, we are the ultimate technology, that we have access to the all potentials, time itself, in thought itself. You could see those things, and you could see pass away loved ones, even from other people, that could come to you and give you information about somebody else that could help somebody else. But then, God forbid, no, go into fear. That's just an AI program, or that's just someone that's going to entrap you. But then you limit yourself from seeing all that is. It really needs to, people really need to stop that fear programming, because they literally limit themselves to access all that is. When it comes to this, you are borderless, and nothing can touch you.
I got to tell you, Darius, this has been one hell of a podcast. I would like to talk about Artemis too, and NASA and all that. Could we do a second segment and do that?
Yeah, sure, man. I could just give
so beautiful. This to me, I just don't want to. I just feel like
okay.
this was just so. Let's just leave it with a nice little ribbon right here, and let people chew on this for a while, and then I'm going to bring you back, and we're going to talk about NASA and the purpose of NASA and Artemis. But right now, I think this was done beautifully, man. What's your thoughts on that?
Sure. If it
does that work for you?
Yeah. We could end it here.
Because
I like these segments better like this, and because
it leaves everyone open.
It allows
the
energy. Yeah, and it allows the energy to flow properly and where it's meant to be.
Yeah, and I think that was, that's what this was meant to do, this segment, because I don't want to take away from it or add any more. I just feel like this is perfect. I kind of like captured it all at this moment. I just want to digest it and let my audience digest this.
What does Nino actually feel? Like what, with like the fear and everything? Because it's
just about recognizing that we are endless possibilities, and fear is the only thing that holds you back. It's like, the one thing I can always relate to is boxing, right? Like my fights, you always have to make that step of faith, even though if you feel like the guy's better than you and whatever, you got to feel like it's time to turn that corner, to take that fight, and a measurable amount of fear is good, because it keeps you sharp. But you have to take those risks. You have to take those leaps of faith. And
I would say, could I say this? I would say that love is even sharper.
Yeah. Because if I had a lot of love in my heart, I probably would have never had to fight anyway.
Well, I mean, all right. Let me actually, let's just go and end on this one. Love is actually sharper. Now, you're fighting in the ring towards anger towards somebody, but let me ask you, and sorry if it's going to be graphic, but if someone had a knife to your child's neck, your love for that child would, your ability to protect would even be sharper than that, what it was in the ring.
Correct.
Love is sharper.
Well, and here's where it makes sense for me too. My first 15 fights, I was in love with the sport of boxing. In love with it. I was having fun. It was a good time. And it was after that I fell out of love with boxing, and I was just in kind of like automatic. I was in third gear. And then towards the end, the last 5 years of my fighting careers, when I, in my 30s, I started getting probably self-sabotaging myself and getting, injuries and, broken bones and things that never used to happen before, because I fell out of love with boxing. And now I felt like I was in an abusive relationship, like it was just like an abusive, just horrible, like a bad marriage. I don't know how to explain it, man. Yeah. Like the honeymoon phase was over, bro, a long time ago. And so like that was the end of it. So that's how it ended for me. Right. And it's kind of like what I was feeling inside, manifested on the outside, and that's how I lost. And I think my soul was really looking for a way out. I even think the knifing event that happened to me in my throat was manifested. You know, I believe it was me looking for a way out of my career. I couldn't deal with the pressure anymore. I was 36-0, and it was killing me. Which most people would be like, 36-0, you should have been so. It wasn't like that with me. I felt this heaviness, like I couldn't live up to the expectations anymore, and I was probably looking for a way out. So I wasn't operating from a place of love anymore. I didn't love doing what I was doing anymore. So.
And then when you stepped out of love, everything started to fall away.
100%. It all started falling apart, dude, right in front of me.
Yep. And that's what you just said is the complete package. That once you step out of love, everything starts to fall. You become the very fallen angel within the physical body and the cells and the will of your soul and your spirit within inside of you right now.
100%.
You just fall.
Right. And I think for me,
you're never. Sorry. So no one will ever get me like with the shows and when I share, like you cannot shift my certainty in this because I know it with an absolute fact. You know, and that's arrogant. People will say that's arrogant.
No.
But I know it with an absolute fact.
No, it's power, man. It's a beautiful thing. You know, you're limitless. Really. And you understand it. And you're really trying to help other people. Let's talk about that for a second. You have a remote view. All right, I'm sorry. Wow, I have so much chicken scratch here. It's control thegreatwork.info, correct? That's your website, thegreatwork.info, and that's where what people can sign up for classes, Darius?
They could learn more and they could read the mission there, but that's where I do certain things and hold certain events. Yes, but read the mission there, and then you also have my personal site, which is just DariusJWright.com.
Darius J. Wright. So yeah, DariusJWright.com. I'll put both those links down there, folks. Pay this guy a visit. I think you do awesome podcasts. I'd love to have you back on in the next couple of weeks. We'll schedule.
Good. Yeah, cool.
I still want to talk about Artemis and NASA and all that. We'll have some like a fun episode, but this was so deep and so different. I didn't really want to taint it. And
no, I get it because that was my intention of coming on here too, but it just flowed in that direction.
Yeah,
let's just keep
go with it. Yeah,
but I also want to say this because I know the lady from the event will probably be watching this. Catherine, her name was either Catherine or Katie, or not Katie, Catherine or something. If I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. But if you're watching this, but I just want to say that because she's going to be like, why are you mispronouncing my name?
Well, it is what it is. I mean, hey. I think it's cool. I mean, it's a really cool. This is how many people were there? How many people attend your events?
This one was 120 or
wow,
25 showed up with this one.
That's phenomenal.
But it again, it was I can't share everything that happened there. Because there's certain things that happen there that is meant just for people, but I'm telling you this: once people realize, and they're all connected, that there's no limitations placed on you, you start to bridge what they call the spirit world into the physical. And not only that, you start to do things that are deemed as impossibilities that are possible. There was a lot of stuff happened there, and it's really made me shift everything from that because I realized the importance of that because people hear me talk online. I'm just on this image, but once I'm there and I'm helping people helping other people becoming a part of a community in that way, magic starts to happen. And I personally, within myself, I know that that's the direction that I move on from this day forward because, even with the out of body training, that near death experience stuff, controlling the body down to shutdown, typically that takes around, if you are practicing this at night, will take you about an hour and a half, sometimes 5 hours, give or take. And I've explained this to you before.
Yeah.
Sometimes the process that I go through, right? And people just don't have that mental thing. But
especially if you have ADD.
yeah, but listen to this. There was something I've been working on. I worked on it with a kid in my house. Such and such invited a kid, came to my house with a parent, and I was like, you know what, you really want to learn this, let me try something with you. And I started to do certain techniques with him, and I got him into that deep state like within 30 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes. And then I was like, all right, let's try this in a group setting with everybody there. And so I set up the whole thing, and I was only working with a handful of people because we all separated into groups to do other things. And in about 45 minutes, at least three people in the handful hit sleep paralysis. One person, her name is Jane, fully left her body and saw the top of where we were, the trees and stuff. And so once you are in person, there's the energy.
I feel like he gonna say it's like more synergistic, like pretty much everybody operating in harmony. So like it's like a concentrated force of whatever it is they doing. So since that's what they practicing, it's like more higher vibrational, and it's like everyone is elevating, everyone is putting into the conglomerate, I guess. So it amplifies the intention. The intention, that's pretty much what it is. The intention is um being amplified, and like I guess that's what you're trying to say.
Energy doesn't lie. That feeling that you feel, you tune into that, you cannot mistake that, and that turns things on. People's one individual, her eyes started to turn blue on the outside, a ring around. This may seem like, oh, this is just Darius is making this up.
Eyes turn blue. That's yeah, mutant.
Woo woo. Yeah.
Yeah, woo woo or whatever. But then this also brought me back to certain things that they then show images of, or deities, or they call them demigods, or whatever, what have you, or gods or whatever. That sometimes their eyes would come through as a lighter color or a blue color or whatever color. And I started to think, why is that actually happening? Why is that happening to this individual? And as I started to just think about it and go deeper into just what I know to be true, I think that it's because when the soul comes more into the physical body, you could see it through the eyes. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. So if the soul is more present, wouldn't you see the eyes change? Wouldn't you see
They do see that, so he could be onto something.
something different?
Yeah.
And that's the only concept that I have. And and I'll end it there. I'll end it there because people.
Ooh, that takes me to another. I mean, call me dark, but that takes me into the reptilian shapeshifters and the whole thing. And oh boy,
no, not that, dude.
Okay, okay, I'll stop.
This is something it's more profound than that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that people would go into fear and do what you're saying.
That's exactly where I went.
There was something more profound happening that I put it this way. I was going this way. Now I'm going this way because of that.
Right. Okay. Got you. All right. Darius. Got it.
Man.
Thank you. Stay with me just one moment, folks. Go to DariusJWright.com or thegreatwork.info. I'll put the links down below. Pay him a visit, man. This guy's something special. Darius, stay with me just for a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Operation Often was initiated.
Well, that's the end of the video. It was profound for real. Like, yeah, like I kind of got a better um grasp of what what he was speaking of, like the fear. I mean, it makes sense too. Like fear isn't definitely blocks a lot of things. It blocks your pretty much everything. It blocks you from doing things. Yeah, like in life, real life, like express yourself and things like that. So that's pretty much a blocker. So it makes sense that if you not in fear, you'll be able to be or access the more unlimited parts of yourself, or you, yeah, pretty much, because it just makes sense. And I really like the way he was explaining it, because it makes a lot of sense. Even though I've heard it a lot of times, like some people, you just for me, he explained it pretty good and in a way to where I could actually feel what he talking about, like understand in a way. But yeah, it was a very good video for me. Um, it usually is these type of topics and stuff, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed um, as well as I did, and like, comment, subscribe. I mean, have you ever had any out of body experiences or near death experiences or anything like that? Whatever the case, comment down below. I'm very curious to see if you did experience that in any way. But yeah, I hope you guys having a good day or night whenever it finds you, and continue to have one. And I'm grateful for you guys for watching all the way to the end. If you made it here, I fuck with you, you know that. But that's it. Love y'all. Peace.